Hello, friends and lovely people wherever you are on the planet. Hello, it is Kathryn and 5D visionary, elevated consciousness coach, all cozy in my office today on a wintry day in Lake Tahoe, and doing a lot of reflection, a lot of tuning in today, and it took me to some time today to come to the right. Hi, Carrie. To come to the right subject matter to share with you guys today, and I think I found it. So this is going to be a short one today. It's going to be a mini coaching session, but I think it's going to help a lot of people. And when I really felt into this information, it seemed very appropriate and like it was going to reach a lot of folks in the fields right where they needed to access that. So this is Sunday Support. This is a weekly little thing that I do here for you guys in Global Acceleration of Ascension. But I do put my replay of this up on my YouTube channel. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, I have hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel. So if you like this kind of content, all you have to do is go to Kathryn on YouTube. Look me up, subscribe, and get a whole bunch of great information like this and a lot of other stuff too. Just a quick announcement, I have my Quantum Quintessence Society starting up on March 11th. There are still plenty of spots available for that. This is a deep dive and highly supportive space to explore 4, 5, 6, and 7th dimensional realms with practice, with activation, with embodying the essence of these dimensional realms and working with them in a really tangible and practical way with a lot of guidance, a lot of nurturing, a lot of information, and as is usual, something a little different than what else is out there. So if this calls to you, I will have the description in the comments here. I'm working on my book. I am putting it together and every day putting a little bit more together with my book. And when you join the Quantum Quintessence Society, you do get my next book, which comes out March 30th, Notes on Ascension. This is a non-linear perspective and musing on all things awakening, enlightenment, and ascension. And it is part of the Quantum Quintessence Society, but it will also be available as an ebook on Amazon that you can download. So, what do you do with echoing timelines? First of all, what's an echoing timeline? Hello to everyone who's here. Hey, Tiffany. Let me see who else is here. When I get into the space where I can actually see your comments. Let me see. So, an echoing timeline. When we have a theme, a cycle, a story that comes up for us that we feel we've explored before. We feel like we've gone through this, and I think a lot of us are going through this period of feeling like, wait a minute, this old chestnut, didn't I already explore this? Didn't I already work through this? Didn't I already clear this or release it or work on it in a way that was maybe to a level of your satisfaction before, let's be honest. But it's coming around again. This could be a scenario, a situation, an event, a certain kind of person who is showing up in your life when you thought you had created enough spiritual hygiene and boundaries for yourself that that person could never get back in, or that type of person could never get back in. Where you might think that it is actually going backward, let me offer a different perspective on that, okay? You're not going backward. You're at a higher level now vibrationally. So you're approaching this scenario, this event, this opportunity, this situation, this gift in the garbage, as I like to call it, differently and from a higher level of vibration. So to everything that we might experience in this lifetime, there are levels of it. And if there is a theme that has maybe defined our personal reality, thus informing our worldview, our level of perception, how we look at the world, how we look at ourselves, how we have an interpersonal relationship with ourselves, that's a big thing. So there are many levels and layers to that. So even though you may have cleared or released something to your satisfaction before, and that might have been, hi Heidi, a timeline that was closed out, in fact, collapsed, dissolved. If there was another layer of that is still informing who we think we are and how we perceive our reality, and thus how we conceive or manifest our reality going forth, then it's not fully clear. Then it's not fully collapsed. It's not fully released and dissolved. Okay? So if you are entering a different vibration now, and perhaps something that was a recurring theme before, some sort of cycle that you thought you had broken with before, let me offer up this level of perspective that you're at a higher level now and able to fully break with a cycle from the past now at the level that you are accessing, at this vibration that you're in right now. So at this elevated vibration, there's a real gift here. Because what it is, it's like a bird's eye view that's letting you look down on this scenario, situation, opportunity for growth in a way that maybe you didn't have before. Meaning the vibrational level that you're at now is offering you a different objective observer vantage point. That's a higher bird's eye view, allowing you to kind of, in a way, look down on what's happening and be like, isn't that interesting? There's that theme. And I feel differently about it now, but it's still something that is causing me to be contracted in my energy or be barricaded in some way to what I'm asking for, okay? But the gift in that is that now you have this bird's eye view from which you can access the wisdom and the lessons learned in a way that maybe was veiled to you previously. So if you feel like this might be you and you're going through right now a timeline that is part of your now dominant timeline, meaning where you have the most attention and focus in your life right now, you are noticing a pattern, something familiar, something that has created your reality before, something that has allowed you to maybe define yourself and who you think you are, okay? So if this is coming up now, you may want to grab a pen because this is, like I said, a mini coaching session, but there's going to be some gold in here for you guys. If you want to dig deeper with what this is, why is this timeline, this scenario, situation, etc., this theme, why is this echoing for me right now again when I thought I had already moved past it? So you may want to grab a pen and piece of paper and write down these questions, because these are really wonderful journal prompts, and they're going to help you to dig deeper into why is this theme showing up? How is this a theme in my life? Like, how did it get there? Okay. So you want to look at the deeper motives you have. The deeper motives you have, meaning what's your most desired timeline for your way of being? Manifesting the funds to schedule with you. Lovely, Lorraine. Thank you. Thanks for being here too. But you know what, Lorraine? Even if you don't have that right now, pay attention to what I'm saying, because this is really going to help you. This is going to help you a lot, okay? So think of it as, okay, anytime we try to make strides in our growth, our personal growth, the first step, the secret sauce, is acceptance. Don't get upset or derailed and start like pulling your hair out because you're like, oh my God, this thing again? That is, I don't want to say it's wrong, but it is a completely unhelpful energy, and it doesn't serve to help you do the deeper digging that's required here. Okay, so don't get you mad at yourself or the universe or anybody else or anything else for this showing up again. It is literally the universe guiding you to, hey, you're almost done here. You're almost done here. You're so friggin' close. Let us help you. So we understand you're in a different vibration now, so let us help you see this in a different lens than maybe you've been able to look at it before. So acceptance that this is what it is, okay? Acceptance is the secret sauce to personal growth. There are a lot of people who don't talk about that, but if you can't accept that this is where you're at, and this is what is happening right now, and this is what you've been dealt with, this is what the fates decided you needed to look at this time, or what the universe is showing you, and it's going to keep nudging at you until you finally accept and allow the growth to happen. The universe is just going to keep showing you this theme over and over again. So in that acceptance, the second part of that is, all right, I'm ready to be done. Not only do I accept that this is where I am, but I'm ready to step up to what it takes for me to be fully done with it. Okay, we on board so far? Secret sauce here, kids, secret sauce. So what are the deeper motives you have? Meaning, what is your highest desired potential? What do you want? Like, what do you really want? And I'm not talking about like the censoring yourself and making it small because you think it'll be easier for you to get it if it's smaller. No. We're way beyond that now. And if you're at a higher level of frequency, you're definitely way beyond that now. What do you really want? In your highest moments of imagination and creativity, what do you want? What do you want? If you can feel it, you can create it. Let go of anything else that tells you can't have it. If you can feel it, you can envision it, you can create it. Because you are a creator being. No matter what your ego tells you, no matter what the small self tells you. What compels you then to be attracted to that? These are questions I'm inviting you to write down. What is the deeper motive of you right now? What do you want the most? What compels you to have that or want to have it? We often don't dig a little deeper to understand, like, yeah, I want a new car. Why do you want it? Because it's the certain kind of car that you want will offer reliability and safety. Like, what compels you to have it? I want a soulmate in my life. Okay, great. You want a relationship with a soulmate. What compels you to want a soulmate instead of a one-night stand, for instance? Okay, pull back the lens on your desires just a little bit. You don't have to go even super deep here. What compels you to be attracted to this opportunity for growth, whether it's a car or a soulmate relationship or whatever, okay? When you've wanted these things before and made these things happen, you've crafted a vision, you've crafted a desire. And with the feeling and vision that you hold of it, you've like launched a rocket of desire, as Abraham Hicks likes to say, sending a crystal clear message to the universe through your electromagnetic signature. And your electromagnetic signature is, when you cast forth, launch a rocket of desire, is the electricity of you, which is the thought. It's electric in nature. And the magnetism, which is the feeling. The feeling is what calls back that matching frequency to you and then makes what you're asking for manifest in the physical realm. You are electromagnetic in signature, and you have a different electromagnetic signature than anyone else here. Yours is unique. So you'll not only get what matches the unique vibration of your electromagnetic signature as it pertains to you, but that's why no one else can have what you want, because it only matches your frequency, your signature, okay? This is something that helps people who feel like having trouble manifesting, and if I don't do this, someone else is going to get it. No. We don't get what we want. We get what we vibrate at. So if you're holding a clear vision of what, really drives you, what compels you, what you really desire is your highest timeline or potential for being. Why do you want it? It's the examining of the why that it creates that feeling and the magnetism of drawing that thing to you, okay? What are the motives there? So when you've created those things in the past that have manifested from your own imagination, your unique creativity, your own unique electromagnetic signature that you cast out to the universe, who helped you? Who showed up? Meaning, maybe there was someone that helped you navigate. Someone that you just like being around when you're in like manifesting mode. I have friends, and my friend Romina is a really good example, because whenever I talk to her, whenever I share information with her or tell her what I'm asking for and what I'm wanting or what I'm doing at the moment, just being in her vibration is like, it's like a beautiful recipe for not only putting everything that I'm doing and taking responsibility for what I'm doing as divine creator of my destiny, but it's knowing that we don't do anything alone. The manifestations that get created, they don't exist in a vacuum. Who supports you? Who helps you navigate? Who provides that extra electromagnetic frequency buffer that builds your energy up even higher? Who helps you navigate towards your creations? This is another question a lot of people don't think about, and you should. Okay? Why are you drawn to those people? Those people who help you navigate, if you can figure out who they are, and chances are, if you don't think about it for too long and stress over it, there's someone who comes up in your mind right away. Like, go with your gut feeling, like, oh, it's Amy. Oh, it's Charlotte. Oh, it's Lorraine. I love being around Tiffany. She just has that energy. It makes me feel I can do anything. Spend more time around those people, because if they're making you feel that way in your life, chances are you're doing something for them too, because it's a reciprocal energetic exchange. Okay. What draws you to those people? What is it about, maybe qualities they possess? Maybe they have a really staunch sense of being self-possessed. Like they're confident, they're courageous. They put what they want out to the universe, and they just have this kind of surrender, but a knowing that it's going to happen. Maybe it doesn't show up exactly in a certain way, but they know that the universe has their best interest at heart. And the universe, they know, is always conspiring to give them those resources, the means to create the kind of life they desire. Maybe it's being around those kinds of people. What draws you to them? Okay, those people who help you navigate. What qualities do they possess that speak to you? And I mean speak to you is they have an electromagnetic signature of them that like draws you into their field, right? And they're probably drawn into your field too, let's be honest, okay? Whatever you figure out there, just take a beat and be grateful for it. I love Heidi's courageousness. And I just love being around that. It just feels like it feeds my soul. It like fills up my heart. And I just feel like when we're together, it's effortless and seamless. When you're in that space energetically, you do feel like you can do, be, or have anything. Right? Right? It just feels like there's no work involved. It just feels like there's just something really easy, and it flows, and it's open, and it's right. Yeah? All right, feel into that. What sabotages you? And I've got some real help for you guys today. I have a list that I compiled, and this was something that I compiled for one of the courses I taught years ago. But I still teach it. And it's a list of sabotages, ways that we sabotage yourself. And it has to do with how we financially sabotage ourselves, how we mentally, emotionally, in relationships. So I'm going to put that as a PDF file in the files section. So for those of you who are here and you want that or watching the replay, I'm going to upload this into the file section of our Global Acceleration group afterwards. And it's a downloadable PDF. And you can go through and see how many different ways. It's kind of shocking, but don't worry about it. A lot of people sabotage themselves in a million different ways. That when you want something, we have a way of talking ourselves out of or doing ourselves out of that manifestation. And it's usually wrapped up in unworthiness or feeling like, I haven't worked hard enough for this. It can't be easy to get this thing, right? And it's all just garbage. that we've been habituated to and conditioned to over and over again. That doesn't make it true. It just makes it something we are habituated or conditioned to, okay? And therefore easy to believe in, but not true, okay? So why am I telling you all this, okay? You know, who helps you navigate? What compels you to want the thing that you want? You know, what are those desires? What are the deeper motives you have for wanting them? What qualities do those people possess that you want to surround yourself with? What sabotages you? The reason I'm prompting you with all of this is to help you break a cycle. Because when you have this deeper knowledge and you're able to look at a theme that's coming up in your life again, you're like, this old chestnut, here we go again. I thought I dealt with this already. You did. But you dealt with it at a different vibration of you. You know, we are like, we're like icebergs in the sense that there's always, if we're asking to keep accessing higher levels of being, there's higher levels of clearing and, you know, releasing that go along with that. So what we see, like in an iceberg just above the surface of the water, is just, you know, maybe a small amount compared to what is beneath the deeper layers, the stuff that is not conscious, the stuff that is subconscious and unconscious. Those are two different things. And so we're not privy to it until we start asking these deeper questions. So thus, I'm giving you these great prompts to dig a little deeper, okay? Especially for those of you who have this recurring theme coming up and you feel like you're echoing a timeline that you thought you already collapsed, already dealt with, okay? Who supports you? Now, this is different than the original prompt. Who helps you navigate? Okay? Maybe there is someone in your life that has no friggin' clue what you're doing. You know, maybe the stuff that we talk about in here, or ascension and enlightenment and all that stuff, maybe they have no concept and don't care about it. However, that doesn't mean that that person can't support you. My mom is a great example. My mom, bless her heart, and my dad are incredibly supportive of what I do. They support me. They have no friggin' clue what I'm talking about most of the time. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. And so I invite you to look at those people who are in compassionate witness energy. Meaning, they have compassion and they have love for you. And it's pretty much unconditional. I mean, I can say that about my folks. And I've disappointed them many times in my life. I'm just going to say it. However, they have an unconditional and compassionate witness energy when it comes to their kids. They just do. They're amazing parents. You know, we could maybe be Jeffrey Dahmers and they would still love us and have compassionate witness energy for us. Even though they don't really know what we're doing or what we're really involved in, and maybe they don't even have an understanding of it. My parents are super old school. You know, this is all, my mom gets it that I'm helping people and I do something that's spiritual, but it's not religious. She's a very religious lady. She's very Christian. And she gets that I'm not that, and I don't like that indoctrination of organized religion, but I'm helping people. And that's all she needs to know. And she has this compassionate witness energy. So who in your life supports you? Maybe they don't have anything to contribute other than, I see what you're doing. And that's it. Okay? Those people are here to be a buffer and to help you bridge the next level of your energetic upgrade, okay? That's my mom as well. So you guys know what I'm talking about. You get what I'm getting at there. Looking at the cycle itself, how do you know you're in an echoing cycle? What are the familiar signs? Okay. So for those of you who are in an echoing timeline, hopefully you have an understanding of what that means at this point. And if you don't, please put it in the comments and I'll help you, help it land with you at a level that you're at. when you start thinking or having this feeling that this is coming up again, this is something that I've dealt with before, what are the familiar signs? It's literally like driving down a road. You're in a timeline, you're driving down a road, and there are road signs that are like, oh, here's this person. Here's this manifestation of this event again, this scenario, this situation, this gut feeling that I have. That's like, oh. Again, let's reframe this. You're not moving backward. You are not moving backward. You're at a different level now vibrationally, where you have a bird's eye view now of being able to see these familiar signs in a way that maybe you didn't before or couldn't before because you were in a different vibration. Remember the first key I talked about here, acceptance. Accept where you are. Accept that this is happening. Okay? That is the only place where we can move forward into personal growth, is acceptance. You have to start there. You have to. Those familiar signs, what are they? Are you responding to these familiar signs in the same ways you always have? Because guess what? That's the round and round, ready to happen again. Noticing the familiar signs and just saying to yourself, I'm going to respond differently this time, is the key to your next step. Because if you respond the same way you always have to those signs, not only are you personally lowering your vibration, you're not taking responsibility for the vibration that you've elevated into. If you're responding the same way to these familiar signs that are showing you that you're in this echoing timeline, that means that you're not taking personal responsibility for keeping and maintaining the higher level of vibration that you've attained. Does that make sense? Take responsibility for this new vibration that you're in. Show the universe, hey, I love this vibration that I'm in. I want to keep going. I want to keep stepping that up. The only way to send that message to the universe through your own unique electromagnetic signature is to say, I see the familiar signs, and I'm responding to them differently this time. Okay? That's how you keep and maintain and keep asking the universe to elevate into upgrading vibrations of you by responding differently to scenarios that may seem like they did before. But if you're responding to them differently, you are creating a different vibration around the whole event. You're creating a different vibration around everything else that has like a trigger effect off of that, okay? Because everything's connected. So if you respond to one different thing in a recurring scenario that's coming up, it's going to change everything else that's on that trajectory. Does that make sense? Complete sense, Kathryn. I've been doing this past week. I love moving forward upgrades. Yes, and we want to keep them. That's our responsibility. You know, the universe doesn't just say, oh, I see you're in this new vibration now, we'll make sure you stay there. No, you have to make sure that you stay there. And you have to make sure that you're taking the steps to keep taking those strides and elevating that frequency going forward. So this is a good time to really review, how have I responded to these familiar signs in the past in this echoing theme, this echoing timeline? What is one thing that I can do differently? That's it. One thing. Respond differently in one way. I don't care how big or small it is. The universe doesn't care how big or small it is. Because responding in one way differently to a familiar scenario that's coming up, maybe it looks, smells, seems, tastes the way it did before, but if you're responding in one way, just one small microcosmic way differently, it changes the whole cycle of it. Does that make sense? So this is an opportunity for you to review, investigate, reflect. How have you responded to these things before, these themes, these echoing timelines, and what is one thing I can do differently? What is one thing? You know, sometimes we think we have to, completely change or do everything differently. And, completely like gut our whole life, right? Declutter everything, get rid of everything, every person, every situation. It doesn't work that way. The universe loves incremental upgrades. The universe loves that. And the universe loves it even more if you take even the smallest, tiniest tidbit of an incremental upgrade, do it, commit to it. Yeah, it might be uncomfortable in that space in a minute, but you say, okay, it's uncomfortable for now until I establish my new normal with it. And it becomes less uncomfortable if you take that little incremental upgrade, that little change, that little different response this time than you would have responded maybe before, and keep creating some momentum around it. Do another little change tomorrow or a couple days from now. Do another little change at the end of the week. Another little change. Ease yourself into it. You know, some people like big quantum leaps, but that's only because that jives with their personality. For most people, it terrifies the crap out of us to take big changes and do big things. And that's self-sabotage city right there. If we're not the kind of person that's used to massive change all of a sudden, your ego is just going to help you out by finding a way to sabotage it. So you might make that change, but you won't keep it, especially if it feels really, really big, and especially if you're not the person who really jibes with super big change all at once. Does that make sense? You can change course in your life and change the trajectory of your timeline and break a cycle just by making a small change. What I really don't like about, you know, the old paradigm of coaching is like feel the fear and do it anyway. And just take these big leaps. If you really want your life to change, then you have to do this, and you have to commit to that, and you have to say no to that, and you have to say yes to this, and you have to plunk down a shit ton of money on this and whatever. It's garbage. Sorry. And, I'm not crapping on anybody who coaches that way still, but it's an old paradigm of feel the fear and do it anyway. The new paradigm is notice the cycle and make one small change to break it. And then keep making those small changes. Create momentum. The universe loves momentum because when you're in that momentum, you're establishing a vibration for yourself that becomes a new normal. And the universe recognizes that because it recognizes your what? Electromagnetic signature, okay? And it provides you with everything that is a frequency match to that. So if you're doing little things all the time to just keep that momentum going with that vibration, and yes, the benefit is you'll keep upping your vibration by doing that. The universe says, okay, then we'll keep sending you things that are aligning with this upping or constant elevating of your vibration. The universe only sends you what's a vibrational match to who you are, where you are, what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, right? Take responsibility for the energy around us. We have a choice. Respond even in one way. You do something different. Yes, absolutely, Denise. Yes, yes, yes. Lorraine says, makes great sense. Sometimes one needs to hear that. It's okay to change course, to choose differently. And the choice doesn't have to be massive. Let go of anyone telling you, like, you have to make this huge change, It's like, when people try to lose weight and they clear out their fridge, they clear out their larder, they clear out all the shelves, and they put just, high protein or keto food and like no sugar, and they get rid of everything when they were eating 2 days ago total crap. Okay, guess what happens to that person that just stocked their fridge and larder with hundreds of dollars worth of food that they had the best intentions of going to eat and going to partake in and change their life and create that trajectory? It's too big of a shift. It's too big of a jump right away. That's when we self-sabotage. So take the self-sabotage out of the scenario by knowing what your energetic level is. You like great big changes? Great. Then you're probably going to be that person that can handle a big change right away. But if you want to kind of dip your toe in the pool and do things little by little, take small bite-sized chews of this new way of being, know your energy, know what kind of person you are. Know which way you tend to navigate, or what kind of change, or how you change, how you gravitate towards that. And you'll have success every time. So I have some other prompts for you around that, okay? If you're really having trouble with this, okay? Meaning you don't you don't really have the insight to see how you could respond differently, or you can't even see what the cycle is that you're in, but you just know or have that feeling that I've done this before, I'm here again, and I'm in this kind of level of stagnation or static level of reality again, okay? Then be honest with yourself. Maybe it's time to work with someone who can help you see what you can't, okay? Maybe it's time to just suck it up and work with a mentor or a coach. I work with a mentor or coach all the time because I want to keep up leveling and I want to keep that consistent momentum of change in my life because of what compels me to be of greater service, to do more with my life that I enjoy and be of greater service to others at the same time. Those things are not mutually exclusive. I want to live the kind of life I want to live, but I really want to step up in ways that I haven't before and be of better service to those that are part of my community, those who I serve as my clients, etc. Right? And I'm always asking for that. And I realize who supports me in that, who helps me navigate with that. I do a lot on my own. I'm very self-led. But I need someone sometimes to help someone see what I'm too close to in my own life that I can't see. Okay? And that's okay. We grew up feeling that we have to do it alone, and I have to do everything alone. I have to do this all by myself. Usually that's a trauma response. I talked about this in a video I did a couple weeks ago. You don't have to do everything alone. We're here as part of a human family. We're here to support each other. We're here in our highest mission and service to each other to help each other. Okay? Take that in. Allow yourself some help. That allows you to go into a higher vibration too. When you can say to yourself, I accept where I am, but I also accept I need different tools if I want this personal growth. And I need someone to help me see what those other tools are because I don't personally possess them at this time. It's okay. It's okay. So if you're in that place, stop being in self-deception, okay? You're not serving anyone by being in self-deception and keep trying to do that cycle of trying to do it all by yourself and end up in the same place over time, right? For some of us, that's a cycle that we, I can do it by myself, but then you're still in the same place how many years later? Except that maybe you need some help and it's okay. And that's also telling the universe, I'm really ready to move to the next level. And again, the universe will respond to that vibration and supply everything, all the resources, the right people, the right situations that match that energetic vibration so that you can have the support that you need, okay? Because that's how the universe works. It's just that we don't trust it, So when you're looking at this, and you can see this bigger picture now, hopefully I've given you some things to help you kind of pull back the lens and really be in that bird's eye vantage point or viewpoint to look at this, yes, maybe previously visited cycle, but you're looking at it now through a fresh lens with a fresh pair of eyes, through a different vibrational level of view. You're going to see things now that you didn't before. Honor them, accept them. Know that these are pieces that are, they're puzzle pieces that help to fit in, to help you make it cohesive where you're going. So that it doesn't feel like a bunch of, fits and starts to have this new life that you're asking for. Look at the pieces that the universe is showing you and say, okay, all right. When I've approached this cycle before, what worked and what didn't? Where can you see that now? So repeat what works and let go of what didn't. Even if, someone you trust who gave you the best information ever because they've been there before, but it just didn't feel right for you. Maybe it's time to really sit with your own discernment and your higher self knowing, your God self knowing. It's like, okay, just because it worked for her or him, if it doesn't feel right for me, if something smells off, that's because it usually is. What does your own discernment tell you about what works for you? Because what works for you doesn't work for everybody, okay? Be honest with yourself and trust that you have that ability of self-reflection to know what works for you and what doesn't, okay? It's time to trust yourself more. Tune into your place of truth. I've shared this many times. This is something I've taught for over 2 decades now. Why? Because it's the simplest tool out there and it works every friggin' time. Your place of truth, we all have one. Your body is an incredible biofeedback mechanism, meaning when something resonates as truth, your body will tell you. okay? So when you say your name out loud, my name is Kathryn Michelle. If I get quiet, I call in my higher self, I take a breath, I get really tuned in, I get really present. And I just make that shift to my God self. For some of us, it takes longer. For me, I've been doing this for so long, I just shift into my God self perspective. I'm there most of my day anyway, so it's not that hard. And I say my name out loud. My name is Kathryn Michelle. I feel that just above my belly button. So you could do it with yourself. You want to use something stated in the affirmative, meaning you don't ask a question, because then that's going to cue your subconscious and your ego to start paying attention instead of your higher self. So use an affirmative statement that you know is absolutely true. That's why using your name is great. And you can say your full birth name, you can say your married name, it doesn't matter. So for some people, it works better if you say your full birth name. Where do you feel that in your body? And say it enough times where you get that intuitive hit and you know it's that place every time, okay? You could also do it by saying your age, okay? Your birthplace. Something that is an undisputable truth, you state it in the affirmative, not a question. We all have a place of falsehood too. I use my dad's name. I say my name is Robert Michelle. That's definitely not true for me. And it changes. Your place of truth, your place of falsehood can navigate. When we move into different vibrations, that can change, but you can always test it. So mine is in my higher heart. So it's the tortoise heart, which is just below my clavicle. And that's where I feel my place of falsehood. And you can do this too. Say something isn't false. Say you're a different age. Say it. Usually saying a different name is the best way to do it. Trust this a lot more, that you have this ability for biofeedback. When you play with this, it's like saying, hey body, I trust you. And when we trust our body, we end up loving it more. And we let those signals from our body be heard a little bit more, okay? Your body will tell you if something is true or false. Trust that. Tune into your place of truth, and especially around this issue. I am currently echoing a timeline around blank. And get that place of truth or place of falsehood and nail that, okay? And you can use that to go even deeper. To me, this works better than like pendulum dowsing or anything else. Become hyper aware. This is a good one, guys. Become hyper aware of the responsibilities you have to yourself. I'm going to say that again. Become hyper aware of the responsibilities you have to yourself. We're often really keen on the responsibilities that we have that are external to our interpersonal reality, yes? I have to go pick up the kids. I promised Marjorie that I would do this thing with her. I promised my husband we do yard work this weekend, right? We're often hyper aware of the responsibilities, the obligations that we make to other people, right? And especially when there's money involved, or livelihood on the line. Like when we make promises at work to have something due at a certain time, and everything that gets rolled up in having a project due, we're hyper aware of those responsibilities. But we need to tune that high-powered recognition and awareness like a spotlight on ourselves. Because no one else is responsible for you. No one else is responsible for you living your highest and best life. No one else is responsible for you clearing up old dramas and traumas. No one is responsible for your feelings. No one's responsible for your actions, your behaviors, your thoughts. No one is responsible for your outcomes day to day. No one is responsible for your happiness. And I know that this hurts to hear. But it is time to become hyper aware of the responsibilities you have to yourself, to live a better life, to be healthier and have more vitality, more well-being, more love, to feel more support. You are ultimately responsible for that. And you can't take steps into higher levels of personal growth and higher personal vibration without really looking at these responsibilities and where they lie and where you're willing to take up the reins to make sure those responsibilities are met. Okay? And in that, know that you hold the key in your own objective self-observation so that you can release yourself from old patterning, old cycles, echoed timelines, and finally hack it and free yourself from those old cycles that have no more wisdom in them for you. Okay? This is the final step. Remember what I said at the beginning here. This is the universe saying, you're so close. When you're in an echoing timeline, I invite you to think about the universe whispering in your ear, saying, you're so close. This is coming up because there's a piece that you couldn't see before, because you're in this higher bird's eye view, you're in this higher vibration now, that you can see something in a way that you couldn't before. And the universe is like cheering you on, like a kid on the sidelines, playing football at you're the home team, you're about to make that touchdown for the team, and the universe is there going, oh, you're so close, yay! And it's ready to just jump up and down when you finally say yes to that, to taking that responsibility, to seeing that you hold the key to your own release from this old pattern, these self-sabotages, etc. So I hope that this has really landed with some of you today in a way that is very, very helpful. And I'm going to put that list of self-sabotages. So if this really hit home for you, I invite you to, I know some of us feel like, I don't even want to see that. I don't even want to see where I'm self-sabotaging. I don't want to know that. Be brave, folks. Be brave. Remember, the universe is on the sidelines like, you're so close. Just get it, get it, get it. Look at that list of self-sabotages and don't be freaked out at all if you tick off a whole bunch of those self-sabotages, because we have a lot. When we are so conditioned and habituated as we have been in a lack and scarcity paradigm, and we've been swindled into the belief that that's the template of reality that we live in, instead of an abundance template of reality, of course you're going to have a million sabotages. Of course you're going to find a million ways to make sure that you're not abundant and that you stay in the lack and scarcity paradigm. If you're led and brought up to believe that that's who we are, it's normal. But it's not normal for us to stay this way anymore. Okay? I love you all. Happy Valentine's. You're all my Valentines. Won't you be my Valentine? I love you all. Have a beautiful week. Love and peace.